Well, the War of the Spanish Succession was fought to decide whether the Spanish Empire, which at that time of course included large parts of Italy, Spain itself of course, and the Indies, West Indies, Central and South America, vast empire, and the Philippines, whether it should be divided because there was no successor to King Carlos II when he died in 1700. The two claimants, one French and one Austrian, both had, you could argue, an equally good claim, but the French claimant the Duke of Anjou got there first and established himself as Philip of Spain, and the War of the Spanish Succession was fought to decide whether or not he could be replaced by the Austrian, Archduke Charles, or whether the Spanish Empire could be divided. Now, the fear was that if a French claimant on the throne of Spain had the Spanish Empire undivided, that together with the power of France would be an overmighty power in Europe which would overawe all other states in Europe. In 1713, in the Treaty of Utrecht, which brought the War of the Spanish Succession to an end, it can be seen that the Spanish Empire had been divided in that Archduke Charles, who became Emperor Charles of Austria on the death of his older brother Joseph, received large parts of Italy and Naples and Sardinia, which had been part of the Spanish Empire, as his share of the spoils. Philip, the French claimant, sat comfortably in the throne in Spain, but he had to accept a division of the Spanish Empire. It was also seen and set out in the Treaty of Utrecht that the throne of Madrid and the throne in Paris could never be combined. You'd never get a combined kingdom of France and Spain. Now we can see now that would have been a nonsense anyway, that Spain would never have seen itself as allied that closely to France. But it was a real fear at the time that Louis XIV's France would just become too powerful if it could harness the power of the Spanish Empire undivided to what Louis XIV already had. To that degree, France did not achieve its aims, and to a large degree the aims of the other states in Europe were achieved. But after 11 years of expensive war, no one felt able to say so, and generally speaking everyone felt dissatisfied.
What was the Duke of Marlborough's legacy, do you think?
When the Duke of Marlborough became Queen Anne's Captain General in 1702, England, as it then was, Great Britain as it soon became, had no military legacy of real success to think of. It was a militarily negligent power, known as a small island nation with little influence abroad. The ruinous 100 Years' War of medieval times was a long distant memory, and the most recent military history of Great Britain had been that of civil wars, the time of Cromwell and so on. By the time Marlborough passed away, Great Britain had become a military power, a world military power, and a power to be reckoned with, both in Europe and on the high seas. And this work of Britain becoming a military power not only be recognised abroad as such, but the British people themselves appreciating what they could do when pushed to it, I think is his legacy. He established Britain as a power which punched above its weight for many years and arguably still does today.